You can already get some very cool looking armor sets early in Ghost of Yotei that add some cool stealth moves to your arsenal, enhance the ranged playstyle, give you health back and way more. But let's start with the Spider Lily armor, named after the beautiful flowers that adorn the unique helmet of this set. As you might expect from the looks, this armor is best suited for open combat, as it gives you a general increase to stagger damage and a chance to trigger a shockwave when you break an enemy's guard that builds stagger on nearby opponents. Unfortunately, the AoE is not that big and the buildup is not that much, it mostly just looks very cool. But the general increase in stagger damage is quite noticeable, so you'll break through guards much quicker. The best buff, however, is the one that gives enemies a chance to drop a throwable weapon on a kill. While there are other ways to trigger this, like a disarming strike, with the Spider Lily set equipped, any enemy you take out has a chance to leave their weapon behind. And throwable weapons are of course amazing. They are quick, often deal enough damage to take out a target instantly, and they cannot be blocked. It is of course a chance to drop, so your results will vary, but with a bit of luck on your side, this armor is absolutely amazing. The quest you need to complete in order to get it is pretty awesome too, and it's accessible in the first region of the map. Go to the mysterious gate over here to encounter the storyteller Ugetsu, which will start the mythic tale that rewards the armor. You'll enter the grounds of a haunted estate and have to look for 4 keys here. They're easy enough to find, the locks actually give you hints for where you need to look, however I found that the labyrinth key can be a bit confusing. You'll enter into a maze of bamboo and need to pick the right path to progress, which is marked by a trail of spider lilies. Picking the correct path does not send you further into the maze, however. Instead, it adds a piece of bamboo to the stand in the central area, so if a new one appears, you'll know you did it right. Keep following the lilies until the key appears, and once you've collected the other 3, return to the locked door to continue the quest and earn the armor. You also want to pick up some early bounties, not only because they give you a nice amount of mon to spend, but also to unlock the Bounty Master armor. This is basically a reworked version of the Sarugami armor from Iki Island, meaning it disables your ability to perform regular parries, but it greatly increases the window for perfect parries and dodges, and it also allows for additional follow-up attacks. These attacks bypass an enemy's defenses and can also be directed to other nearby targets, but the combo will stop if no other combatants are in range. And while disabling regular parries makes the Bounty Master a bit of a risky armor to wear, do remember that you can still block. It's only your regular parries that are disabled. That also means you want to pay special attention to attacks marked by a blue-gray glint, as these can only be countered by a parry, so your timing needs to be on point for those. Finally, this armor also grants you a big buff to spirit gain, so you'll be able to heal yourself more often if you do get hit. While a regular assassination nets you just about half of a spirit orb, wearing this armor set pushes it to almost a full orb, so a powerful boost for sure. And like I hinted earlier, to get it, you simply need to accept and complete some bounties from Kojiro's bounty board, which you can immediately fast travel to by selecting the Yotei Shadow Inn over here on the map. After completing multiple bounties, for me it was 4, Kojiro will mention a special target that he wants you to take down, saying you'll get to keep their armor if you do. Once you have it, follow the quest to the end. If you get stuck on the cave door, just whip out your shamisen and play the special song that appears. Other than that, this mission is very straightforward and gets you an amazing armor set in the end. If you're looking for something more stealthy, then there's really no better armor than the Crimson Kimono. I mean that quite literally, as one of the perks on this armor reduces enemy detection by a massive amount, meaning it is much harder for them to spot you. But the other 2 perks on it are even better and make you a true stealth killing machine. Wearing this armor significantly increases the distance at which you can perform the ranged Kusarigama assassinations. This is, by the way, a separate skill for the Kusarigama that you need to unlock first. But yeah, here you see the max range with the armor on, and here you see how close I have to get without the Crimson Kimono, so pretty big difference. And it gets even better, as this kimono also allows you to chain assassinate targets with a kunai. When I first read the perk, I thought you could use a kunai instead of a regular assassination to increase the range at which you can chain targets, which would already be a great buff, but it turns out that these kunai assassinations are added on top of your regular chain, meaning you can potentially down 5 targets with a single streak. Do keep in mind that you actually need kunai ammo to use this perk, as well as have the chain assassination skill unlocked from the tree. Also good to know is that the Kusarigama assassination cannot chain into anything else, so if you want to trigger a chain, you have to get in close to your first target. But yeah, these all make you a much deadlier assassin, and it's not even that hard to get this armor. The biggest hurdle is that you need access to Teshio Ridge, the region of the map where the Kitsune hides, but you can already do that early in the story by going over here on the map. Then simply head to the Sakura Forest to find Ugetsu with another tail over here in this spot, and then you'll need to find snow sculptures, then follow swarms of bugs to important locations, but the guiding winds will lead you close to your target anyway, so it's pretty easy to figure it out. Upon completion of the tail, you are rewarded with the Crimson Kimono. And you, by the way, find the kunai over here on the map if you still need those, like we mentioned in the early things you want to get video. Totally check that one out via the link in the video description, and make sure to subscribe to not miss our next Ghost of Yotei video. Oh, and if you enjoyed this one so far, leaving a like would also really help us out. Next up is the armor of the Undying, which really lives up to its name as it is the best armor in the game to help with survivability. The whole deal of this armor is that you are able to trigger various buffs if you align your weapons, or in other words, use the right weapon to counter the one your opponent is holding. So katana versus katana, dual blades versus spears, and so on. If you then stagger an enemy with this armor on, you will restore some health. While it is certainly not as strong as using spirit to heal, you can trigger this effect rather quickly and very often if you keep switching your weapons up. In order to make the most out of this armor, you obviously want to have all weapons available, so make sure to go after the weapon sensei quests as soon as they pop up. The second buff on the armor is also pretty good, increasing the window to perform perfect parries and dodges when your weapons are aligned. The final perk gives focus attacks a chance to inflict extra stagger damage, and in case you're confused, focus attacks are your charged heavy attacks and any follow-up combos tied to these, but this effect unfortunately does not seem to trigger very often. Still, the other two perks on this armor more than make up for it, and it's also my favorite looking set of the bunch, so an all-around great get that you can already grab very early. Your first step to unlocking the armor of the Undying is reaching the Ishikari Plain, so the region of the map where the Oni resides. Then we want to meet up with Ugetsu once again, this time over here on the map, and after his story, you are tasked with collecting 4 wind chimes in order to continue the quest. And while it might seem obvious, you really want to make sure you pick up the chime hanging from the tree close by. Once you have a chime, you can use the guiding winds to help guide you towards the next one. Other than that, simply turn until the chime starts ringing. You can also see the cloth underneath start to swirl in the wind, and then follow it to collect the other chimes and complete the quest. Now, while the Undying armor is my favorite look, there's another amazing looking armor set called the Dragonfly armor that you can grab early. It grants some amazing buffs to bows, so if you enjoy a ranged playstyle, this is the one for you. With the Dragonfly armor equipped, your arrows will show a blue glint once you fully draw the bowstring. Firing an arrow while the glint is visible grants an increase to both damage and range, meaning there's less drop off and it's easier to hit your targets. The damage increase is mostly nice for the short bow, as the longbow kills most things in one shot anyway, plus the glint is kinda hard to notice with how far the camera zooms in. But with the short bow, you can see it basically doubles the damage, as I am able to take out a brute enemy with 2 body shots instead of 4. Firing empowered arrows also restore some concentration, which helps you both restore the ability quicker if it is on cooldown and prolong the ability while it is active, as long as you keep hitting the correct timing. Finally, the armor increases your arrow reload speed, which is noticeable, but it's not a massive upgrade. Plus, you want to draw your arrows fully to trigger the other 2 perks anyway, so you won't be firing that fast regardless. Still though, those empowered arrows make your bows even stronger, so very much worth it to go out of your way and grab the armor. This one starts out in Tokachi Range, which you visit later on for the story, but it is immediately accessible, so you can go grab the Dragonfly armor early by heading to the Cairn Forks over here on the map. You'll overhear some people talking, so join in on the conversation to start the quest. This one is very straightforward. Once again, simply follow the quest directions to grab yourself this amazing set. Again, check that early things video by clicking on the screen, subscribe for more Ghost of Yotei videos, leave a like, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye!